Hello all, it's the Ancient Greek here, and today we will be continuing our series on the Indo Greek kingdom. In the last video, we left off with Diodotus breaking away from the Seleucid Empire and founding his own independent Greco-Bactrian kingdom. However, before this happened, Bactria had been part of the Seleucid Empire since 305 BC when Seleucus's reign started, and in 295 BC, Seleucus entrusted the region to his son and also co-ruler Antiochus I. From 295 to 281, when Antiochus I's own reign started, he was consolidating his power in the region, Seleucid power. He founded many cities in the region, including one called Ai-Khanum, which will become important later. He minted many coins on the Attic weight standard, which was popular in the Hellenistic world at the time. He also established friendly diplomatic relations with Bundisara, who was the ruler of the Marian Empire at the time. This is going to prove very crucial to the development of Indo-Greek culture, like I spoke about in the previous video. The Greek historian Hegesander even writes that Bindusara requested Antiochus to send him sweet wine, figs, and a sophist, and Antiochus replied back that while he could send the wine and the figs, under Greek customs, he could not sell a sophist. Furthermore, in the Indian edicts of Ashoka, an exscript says, quote, "And even this conquest has been won by the beloved of the gods here and in all the borderlands, as far as 600 yojanas away, where Antiochus, king of the Yavanas, and beyond this Antiochus, 4 kings named Ptolemy, Antigonus, Magas, and Alexander rule." End quote. In that excerpt, yojanas is probably something like 7,000 kilometers. Yavanas is what the Indian people called Greeks at the time. Antiochus I continued the tradition that his father had done with him, and he sent his own son, Antiochus II, to rule the eastern regions of the Seleucid Empire. Antiochus II ruled the east until he himself came to the throne in 261 BC. Diodotus of Bactria became satrap of Bactria sometime during Antiochus II's reign, and sometime during Antiochus II's reign is when Diodotus succeeds from the Seleucid realm and creates his own Greco-Bactrian kingdom. The date of his succession is somewhat disputed. The ancient writer Justin places the date in 256 BC, but also says that it's during the reign of Seleucus II, which doesn't start until 246 BC. Personally, I think it's more likely that he seceded during the reign of Antiochus II, so I'm going to go with that as being the time of secession. There is an excerpt from Justin, quote, "Diodotus, the governor of the 1,000 cities of Bactria, defected and proclaimed himself king. All the other people of the Orient followed his example and seceded from the Macedonians," end quote. And of course, by Macedonians, they mean Seleucids. Coming back to the city of Ai-Khanum, that city became a bustling center of cultural exchange and trade and could be considered the birthplace of Indo-Greek culture. There's a quote from Strabo, quote, "The Greeks who caused Bactria to revolt grew so powerful on account of the fertility of the country that they became masters not only of Ariana but also of India, and more tribes were subdued by them than Alexander. Their cities were Bactria and Darapsa and several others." End quote. Diodotus was hostile to the Parthians to the northwest of his kingdom for the entirety of his reign, and the Parthians Parthians were also trying to secede from the Seleucid Empire at this time, so we can see that the eastern regions were kind of in turmoil and the Seleucids were seriously losing their grip, but the Greco-Bactrian kingdom was the one of all these eastern territories that was predominantly Greek and had a Greek ruling class and aristocracy. Diodotus died during the reign of Seleucus II, sometime around 235 BC, and succeeded by his son Diodotus II. Diodotus II made peace with the Parthians and actually supported them against Seleucus II when Seleucus II attacked them in 228 BC. Diodotus II was later killed by Euthydemus, a usurper who founded the Euthydemid dynasty in 224 BC. The Diodotids divided their kingdom into multiple satrapies. One of them was Sogdia, and Euthydemus started out being a satrap of Sogdia under the Greco-Bactrian kingdom. Eventually, he revolted against Diodotus II and defeated him in 224 BC, after which he became the new leader of the Greco-Bactrian kingdom, founding a new dynasty, the Euthydemid dynasty. Euthydemus was originally an Ionian Greek from one of the cities named Magnesia in western Anatolia, specifically in the region of Ionia, although we are not entirely sure which. Could be Magnesia on the Meander River or Magnesia ad Sipylum. He was the father of Demetrius I, who we will get to later. Records on his reign are scarce up until 208 BC, when Antiochus III the Great of the Seleucid Empire attacked the Greco-Bactrian kingdom. The battle they fought was known as the Battle of the Arius in modern Harirud, Afghanistan. Demetrius commanded 10,000 Greco-Bactrian horsemen during the battle, and at the time the Greco-Bactrian army was mostly composed of cavalry. We will get more into the Greco-Bactrian army in a future video. Antiochus was crossing the river with his forces when he saw the 10,000 Greco-Bactrian horsemen appear ahead, and they charged his position, taking advantage of the Seleucid army being bogged down by the river crossing. Antiochus III rode out with his outnumbered cavalry and faced the 10,000 Greco-Bactrian cavalry head-on. He held them, buying time for his own forces to regroup once they had crossed the river and form up for battle. The Greco-Bactrians subsequently lost the battle against Antiochus and had to retreat back to Bactria, where Antiochus besieged them for 3 years. Finally, after 3 grueling siege years, Antiochus decided to capitulate and recognize Euthydemus as the ruler of the Greco-Bactrian kingdom. Antiochus offered one of his daughters to Euthydemus' son Demetrius in around 206 BC. Antiochus received Indian war elephants as part of the treaty. Polybius states, quote, "For Euthydemus himself was a native of Magnesia, and he now, in defending himself to Tilaeus, said that Antiochus was not justified in attempting to deprive him of his kingdom, as he himself had never revolted against the king, but after others had revolted, he had passed himself of the throne of Bactria by destroying their descendants." Finally, Euthydemus sent off his son Demetrius to ratify the agreement. On receiving the young man and judging him from his appearance, conversation, and dignity of bearing to be worthy of royal rank, in the first place promised to give him one of his daughters in marriage, and next gave permission to his father to style himself king. End quote. It is thought, even by Polybius, that Euthydemus wanted to position himself as a defender of the East in the eyes of Antiochus III. He used the fact that he overthrew the descendants of the previous Diodotus who rebelled against the Seleucid Empire to back it up, and he claimed that he was protecting Central Asia from the invasions of other nomadic peoples such as the Scythians and Saki tribes. The kingdom recovered steadfastly after the conclusion of its war with the Seleucid Empire. Euthydemus later died around 200 BC, and Demetrius the Invincible succeeded him. We will kick off the next video talking about Demetrius the Invincible and his grand exploits in India. This has been The Ancient Greek, and I've been happy to have you all here. Thank you for watching, and have a wonderful day.